Welcome to EXP Plus, your conference expanded. So, virtual or in person? How you choose to attend this year is a tough decision. In person means taking a personal risk assessment that considers your comfort level combined with what precautions AIHA, the host city, and the facilities are undertaking. That's a question that we'll dive deeper into in a future episode. What about attending virtually? Considering the issues faced by attendees over the last 2 years, a healthy dose of hesitancy is understandable. Fortunately, my two guests will help allay the possible concerns you may have about attending this year's AIHCE EXP virtually. I'd like to introduce Bethany Chirico, AIHA's Managing Director of Global Meetings and Business Development, and Moira Edwards, President of Ellipsis Partners. For the last few months, AIHA, with the help of Ellipsis, has undertaken a thorough risk assessment of the virtual side of AIHCE. So I'm going to step aside and let them update you on how it's going.
Well, thanks for having us, Ben. Needless to say, neither the 2020 nor the 2021 virtual experiences met either our members' expectations or our own staff and team member expectations. Each year, we do a debrief with the AIHA Board of Directors, and as we debriefed the 2021 meeting, they encouraged us to push the envelope, to not turn back from presenting things virtually, but to take those lessons that were very hard learned in the 2 previous years and delve into areas that we hadn't delved before, to really look at the areas that went wrong and how we can improve them in advance of that. So I was pleased to get the opportunity to talk with Moira in more detail about that and her team, as our risk assessment and mitigation efforts focus on 4 key areas: platform selection, platform configuration and testing, contingency planning, and then on-site event delivery. So Moira, let's go back to the beginning where we started talking about what we were looking for and how we needed to go through doing this risk assessment to make sure that the 2022 event was successful.
Sure, Bethany, thank you. So first, of course, we need to deeply understand the functionality you want to deliver during this event. And we had the good fortune to work with you through your platform selection process. We wrote the requirements that you needed for a successful event. So that meant that we understood what you were trying to achieve in your virtual event. And then once we know that the functionality is available, you had several vendors that really could do that. We really thought about what are the additional criteria for a successful event, in addition to making the technology work from a functional point of view. Performance testing is huge. And so we worked with your vendors to make sure that they had that ability to do performance testing. So before you even decided on a vendor, we actually made sure they had the right attitude. Wasn't that right? That
Absolutely.
They were willing to own that sometimes things go wrong and willing to talk about how they would address it in the moment. And so seeing them rise to that occasion and being willing to work with you on addressing issues was a critical factor in choosing a platform and a vendor.
One of the things I think has been very interesting going through this process, and the AIHA team is composed of 4 staff members. You've got 3 on your side. And I think collectively, we've spent more than 60 hours really brainstorming and deep diving into lots of different areas of things that could go wrong, how we prevent those from the outset or attempt to prevent those, and how to mitigate those if something does go wrong. Let's talk a little bit more about that.
Sure. So we assembled a team of people who've been through large technology launches and had them go wrong, right? So we're not just bringing this from a conceptual point of view. We've had that sinking feeling of, oh my gosh, this is going south. And so what we do now in thinking about risk assessment is, first of all, we start and we say, what's going to cause that horrible feeling of failure? So we've done a lot of that. We've put ourselves in the mindset of what can go wrong in all of these different areas. And we've really dug into it, that sense of the goosebumps coming up your arm of like, ah. And that's a great way to start thinking, particularly we bring together meetings people, program people, education people, technology people. And so we're thinking about all the different things that could go wrong. And so from that, then we think about, well, how do you prevent that from happening? What are some strategies for prevention? What are strategies for mitigation? And then we're combining that. We're working right this second through generating this amazing action plan of how we are going to look at each thing that we can do to make sure it either doesn't happen, or if things do happen in the moment, how do we still offer an informed and seamless experience to your event attendees?
Sure, and some of those things that we've discussed range from a massive national internet outage to internet in the facility going out, to login issues, to firewall situations, or speakers being unable to upload documents or things like that. So I think we've really covered the gamut of issues, or even staff members getting sick, critical staff members who are coordinating the back-end virtual platform getting sick. So there's been a huge breadth of topic areas that we've delved into. And from our last meeting, we talked about the fact that it's been really eye-opening, both from a staff perspective, to dive into those and to figure out how we create workarounds that will offset any potential issues, though there may still be issues. We did discuss the fact that there may be issues that we cannot address, firewall issues, or individuals who have specific settings on their computers. We can find some workarounds for those and some technical support for those. But one of the things I want to encourage all of our audience members, or if you're considering registering, is that once we launch the platform, please go in and test that system. We're going to do that well in advance of the conference itself, but we want to try and work out those issues ahead of time as much as we can to make sure that your experience when you are in the throes of that Monday through Wednesday program, that you're able to get in quickly and easily and access all of the data that you would like to see happen in the virtual experience.
Absolutely. And you know what we're doing is we're trying to think about all the things that could go wrong, but that's probably 80%. There's always the unanticipated, as you pointed out, Bethany. And so we have a very extensive action plan of configuration, base configuration, advanced configuration, functional testing, performance testing, communications plan, backup plans, on-site plans, all of which are going towards making you have a really good experience.
And we've also talked about load testing. So much testing. Testing comes up in probably every other sentence of this process for us, is how we test this out and what different levels of access we need for different staff members and attendees. And so that's been a really, really encouraging and uplifting part of this, is that there will be lots of eyes looking at this both before and during the live conference.
Thank you, Bethany and Moira, for such great information on this process. I know many, such as myself, will feel a lot more secure in their decision-making process as they consider the virtual option. If you have any questions about the risk assessment, please send them to the contact information you see below. And be sure to visit AIHCEXP.org for updates and other information about the conference, including education, networking, and activities. Finally, please take a moment to like and subscribe. We appreciate your attention and look forward to seeing you at AIHCE, whether it's in person or virtually. This has been EXP Plus, your conference expanded.